want to lose weight, you have to eat in a calorie deficit, which means you eat less calories than you burn in a day. That is it. When you start getting comments, you start reading, and then people are mean. Okay, people are very mean. Till I actually had a proper breakdown, like a health breakdown at work. It started in the form of a panic attack, and then we went, like, I remember it was like middle of the night, and I went to my parents' house, which is like a little far away from my hotel. I usually don't, but I couldn't like breathe.
And which Hollywood actor or actress would make a perfect workout buddy for you?
Ooh,
Finally, if you could give like an advice for somebody like myself who's up and coming in this field of social media, YouTube and stuff, what would that be? What would that advice be? Welcome, guys. Welcome to Buddies and Blockbuster. As you know, I'm your host, AJ. And oh boy, we have a big one for you. I keep telling that whenever we have these special guests, but I think this is the biggest one because I think I have a superstar with me on this interview. I'm super proud to have this person here, mainly because of her successful journey that she has gone through over the past couple of years. But the main thing is she's multifaceted, right? Not only is she a chef, she's a certified nutritionist. She's also in the health and wealth kind of segment. But guess what? She's a really successful influencer with over 300,000 followers in her social media platform. So that's really impressive. And I thought the success story that she has to get to where she is something that the audience and my buddies here would be appreciative to hearing. So without further ado, I would love to introduce Aathira Sethumadavan onto the show. Aathira, welcome aboard. I hope you're excited. Before
thank you.
Before I hand it over to you, I usually do this to all my guests. Is I want to thank you. Right, I'm really appreciative of the fact that you were okay about giving your time. I know you're a busy person, and sharing some time with myself and the audience here is really appreciative. Not everybody does that, so I'm really appreciative of that. So welcome aboard.
Thank you so much, Alan. The pleasure is all mine.
Yeah.
I'm honored to be here, to be honest. And thank you for that very kind introduction. I think you've covered everything about me.
Okay, that's good. Made your job a lot more easier. But because I think the main piece for me is your story, right? I was really kind of impressed and kind of inspired as well to see the growth that you've had. So I think in terms of the flow, as you know, I have a couple of questions. I'm usually the quiet one in these episodes because I let the guests do the talking. I mean, it's your success journey, it's your piece. And once that main segment is done, we have a fun rapid fire round. Even if it's controversial, you got to answer. So
I shall try my best.
Yeah, and then closing notes. I mean, that's about it. But the main focus is definitely your story, right? So let's get to it. And I believe the best part of starting this would be to taking you back in time, right? Because you're really successful now. But it would be great for the audience to know what were those pivotal moments that made your journey so successful. I know there were struggles at the initial piece, whether it's health matters, weight gain concerns, and stuff like that. It would be great for you to share that journey because you're really successful now. We would like to know what got you here.
I was at a very low point in my life in around 2020. So I used to work in hotels, like in hospitality.
Yeah.
And I mean, as everyone knows, that the year before that is when COVID hit. And no, that is the year that COVID hit. And we had it tough in the hotels because, yes, we had to shut down most of the operations, but then we did have to have a core team who had to take care of the entire ops, even when we were under lockdown in India. So for 4 months, I remember I was staying in the hotel with a team of, say, 20, and we had to do everything. And there was a lot of work because that was a point when we were not making much money, right? And no hotels were making money. So we had to think out of the box, get new forms of revenue. It was like we had a resource crunch. So we have to do a lot of work. And basically that whole year was very tough. And one thing I had completely neglected in my life was taking care of myself. I don't know why, maybe because I mean, I was conditioned to believing that, okay, I am born and I will stay obese. I don't have time to exercise because I work 16 to 20 hours a day. I don't have time to cook for myself because I am working outside. So I will be eating from outside. And somehow, I mean, even now, I am someone who lives to eat. Like my whole life is about food. So at that point, when I thought of a diet, it was like, it was an alien concept to me. Like, why would I give up things? Those were my great thoughts until I actually had a proper breakdown, like a health breakdown at work. It started in the form of a panic attack. And then we went, like, I remember it was like middle of the night and I went to my parents' house, which is like a little far away from my hotel. I usually don't, but I couldn't like breathe. And then my mom's a doctor. So then, we had to go to the hospital, do a bunch of tests. And that's when I realized, okay, I'm not like okay at all.
Mm.
Like I had high blood pressure and hypertension. I was only 24 years old. And it
Wow.
was all attributed to my lifestyle. I was severely obese. I was over 100 kilos. I had cholesterol. I had IBS. I had like severe like symptoms of PCOD. I was really bad, but more than anything, I was really unfit. Like I could not walk up a flight of stairs without wanting to die. It was that bad.
Wow.
But I took a break from work because I realized that if it's now or never.
Mhm.
I was only 24. I think for me the reality check was that, my parents are 60 plus. I should be able to take care of them, not
Yes.
the other way around. It was like a shock. And that is when I took a break from work. And that's when it started, where I took a sabbatical and I was at home. And I tried working out. I got a trainer. It was nice, but again, I think I remained the same way for about almost 9 to 10 months because I did not understand what I was doing. I thought if I just took a break, went to the gym every day,
Hmm.
I'd lose weight. But
No.
it did not happen that way at all. And sometimes I guess, I mean, maybe this was not a harsh reality that I needed, but I had come I live in Bangalore. I
Yeah.
mean, at that point, I live in Bangalore, and then I went down to my hometown in Kerala, in Kochi.
Mhm.
And I remember, I think we all have to deal with relatives,
Oh yeah,
like
for sure.
people we
Yes.
don't really want to meet. But I had somebody come up to me who I barely talked to and said, "Oh, I heard that you took a break from work to work on yourself. And then why did you bother? Because you look even worse than before." And it was very rude. And I mean, but it got me thinking.
Hmm.
Like it was not necessary at all, and I would never say that, and I would never ask anyone to say that to anyone. But
Yes.
it got me thinking that in essence, what did I do? I had not done anything. Yes, maybe I started exercising, but I was still the same. I was still taking meds. I was still on everything. So that's when I realized. And then I said, okay, let me try. And then I read up a little bit about food. I did not know much about nutrition. I was a
Hmm.
chef before. Like, I worked in different roles in the hotel. I
Wow.
trained to be a chef, but I worked in the front lines. But I had that chef training in me. So
Hmm.
I was invested in good food. I read up a little bit about nutrition and I tried to find the places where it said that you don't have to like give up everything.
Yeah.
And so I changed my diet for a week, and I just continued hitting the gym every day. And I think within the first week, I lost like a bunch of weight in 1 week. And maybe it was 2 or 3 kilos or whatever it was. It was probably a lot of
Yeah.
water weight. Either way, for me, it was like a revelation that, okay, this is possible. Like, and that's how it started. With the first week, and gave me the confidence that it's possible.
Hmm.
Then the next 4 months, I kind of lost over 20 kilos because of just following in that same pattern.
Wow.
It was not a very restrictive diet, to be honest. It was just doing the right thing. It was not that hard at all.
Well, I think that's the misconception that a lot of folks have, right? Is like, oh, if you
Yeah,
if you have a
yeah,
strict diet or whatever the case, maybe you're gonna lose out on all the good foods out there, and it's kind of a
absolutely.
struggle. But this is a good example of showing no, there is a path towards being healthy, but also having good food, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That is my whole philosophy of dieting. Yeah.
Awesome. And it's really good to see that you've turned the struggles that you faced into kind of a platform right now, right? I mean, there's a reason why you're growing in your social media platform as well as your own website, where you have a lot of recipes, a lot of good diet plans and stuff. Can you share a bit about that philosophy that you have? Because there's a lot of fitness freaks and a lot of folks with all these mantras and stuff like that in this day and age. But how does your philosophy work in this field?
So I had no intention to enter this space. Like,
Mm,
firstly, like I did not think I would ever become a nutritionist. Even at that point,
mm,
so what I did was just to keep myself accountable in 2022. I think this was in 2022. I started posting a few reels of just myself working out
mm.
and stuff, just for my small followers of 1,000 people who I knew, and like
Yeah.
it was not a conscious decision. I used to cook a lot of food, and I used to just put a recipe in my
Mm,
stories every day, but that was for people I knew. One day I put a reel, and somehow it took off. It was just my maybe 3 month, 4 month
mm.
transformation. Till then, like I was getting, say, maybe 3,000, 4,000 views, but this reel took off very well and crossed some 400K views. And that was,
Wow.
I think, the starting point when I realized the number of requests I got asking me for, what did you do? What did you do? Like, tell us what you
Mm,
ate. Tell us what you ate. Then I would just post about it on my stories. Then I realized people wanted more proper content on that.
yeah.
And this, I was still on a sabbatical from work, so I had the time. So I started just doing that. At the same time, I was doing masters from the Culinary Institute of America. So I was
Oh.
getting a lot of ideas from there as well.
Mm,
And either way, I just continued with just regular content. And like, I like to say it's very authentic because as someone who has never studied
yeah.
dietetics, nutrition, or anything about exercise, what I posted was purely from my experience. But it seemed to start working for people. They
Mm,
started just following my reels or my recipes or a little bit of advice that I would give. And people on the internet started telling me that it's working. It's working. So we want something more. We want a diet plan, give you a diet plan. But I didn't want to give off diet plans like that because I was not a certified nutritionist
yep.
yet. So, and then I decided to do a course on that. So I got certified as a nutritionist. And then I started just to like a small scale. I wanted to just test out a model. I didn't have a website, anything. I just used WhatsApp. And I was like,
Mm,
okay, if you want to register. And I started with 45 people in the first month who signed up with me. And I guess over the past 2 years, I nearly have over 3,000 clients. But how we started was, it was because the diet plan was kind of delicious. So
yeah.
I think
That's
people
a good
wanted
one.
to follow it because it had the things that you would never think of, right? Like you would think you can't put fat, you can't put carbs, you can't put
Hmm.
anything in a diet. A normal diet plan, and I have taken once before when I was obese. I could not follow it because it just seemed to be like, a lot of vegetables and a lot of like steamed stuff and not a lot of taste.
Yep.
So the idea, the philosophy that I follow is if you want to lose weight, you
Mm,
have to eat in a calorie deficit, which means you eat less calories than you burn in a day. That is it. And honestly, that's all you need to know if you want to lose weight. If you want to gain weight, it's the exact opposite. You
yep.
eat more than you burn in a day. And there are ways to make sure that you eat in that small manner. You don't need to have a weighing machine to check the food. You just need to know.
Mm,
So when I started, I would track my food on an app using small bowls or cups and measurements. Like I would track every meal that I ate for the first 1 month or 2 months. And that's when I understood how much of food is actually, okay for me to eat without exceeding my calorie limit. So with the same concept, I made a diet plan, which included everyone's favorite things. Like, in India, we need the rice, we need the
yeah.
roti, we need the curry, but we also want some noodles and some pasta and some chocolate cake and all of that stuff. So the diet plan ended up like that. And along with that, I also give a set of like guidelines. I don't give workouts because that's not my
Mm,
forte, but I still do give a lot of guidelines as to what you can do and what you should do to improve your metabolism so that, along with your diet, everything else is also going right. And that was my philosophy. That still is my philosophy. And what started as just a small experiment then
yeah.
has become more than anything has helped people just like me. I think that's all I wanted Because when people reach out to you asking for, I genuinely can't do it. I wanted to tell them, if I couldn't, I mean, if I can, as someone who never
Yeah,
thought I could, then you definitely can. You just need to know what to do.
for sure. And I think you're being a bit humble, okay?
No,
Because
I'm not. I'm not. I, because like if you should ask anyone who's known me for my whole life, right? Like
yeah,
my life is about food. So,
okay,
you know, as someone who loves food, to be able to cut it down it was, I thought, an impossible task for me. But so if I could do it, I'm sure
anybody, yeah,
anyone else can too.
for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
And just to piggyback off that, because I think this
yeah.
is the reason on why you've been growing so much. Because a couple of weeks ago, when I initially reached out to you, I had this question as, "Oh, Aathira's social media platform nearly to 300,000 followers, and now it's more than 300,000." And congratulations on that. But I feel this is the reason, the philosophy that you have, and making sure that the whole diet plan is not restricting people's tastes and stuff, it sets you apart. But because you have now a bigger audience in the Instagram platform,
Absolutely.
as well as the diet website you have, kind of in the saturated industry that's there right now, how are you going to keep this growth? Because it looks like you're growing on an exponential way, which is awesome. But how are you going to maintain that piece moving forward?
So Instagram is, I mean, I've learned the hard way. It's not like I've always not, it's not always been an exponential growth. You
Yep.
understand? There have been ups and downs. And firstly, the more you relate to your audience,
Hmm.
like the more you need to exactly understand what they want.
Hmm.
That is, and I feel for me, that is authenticity. Like, okay, when I started, a couple of years ago, there was a lot of food content. There was not a lot of healthy food content. So I
Yes.
started capitalizing on that space. When now I see that almost every page does healthy food content.
Yes.
So how do you stay authentic in that way? See, I stick to my thoughts, which is still the fact that you can eat ridiculously good foods. I'm
Hmm.
not going to be prescribing you diet food. Like I'm so if you look at my reels, my recipe reels,
Yes.
it's all about a food that you probably never thought you could enjoy, but which still tastes good. So, and I'm very true to my recipes. If I test out a recipe, if I don't like it, I won't post it. Like, because I mean, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, right?
Yep.
And it is true that healthy recipes, you might need a little bit of more thinking and a little more
Hmm.
tuning to make sure it works. Because sometimes it just might not work out
Yep.
because you're using different ingredients. So I try to keep my authenticity in terms of my diet philosophy. Second is I use a little bit of personal storytelling in my
Sure.
reels. So if you want to know, I mean, I can give you an interesting insight on how trajectories work in
Yeah,
terms of growth.
for
So
sure.
last year, this was in 2023, I had a very crazy year. I was getting married, had tons of work, and I was losing my shit. Sorry about that. But
No, it's
either
all
way,
good.
yeah, I did not have as much time. I was
Hmm.
not invested as much in content creation. I was very invested in my clients because
Hmm.
these are two businesses that I run. So I
Yep.
focused a lot more on making sure that my clients were happy. But Instagram, I could not post as much as I wanted to. So like I grew last year, but it wasn't great.
Yep.
And like the first 6 months that I did start content creation 2 years ago, I grew 100K followers. And the
Hmm.
last year, the entire year, I grew to around 81 more K. So I was
Hmm.
181, but I closed the year at 179K because I was
Hmm.
not consistent. I don't blame anybody at all except myself because I was not consistent
Hmm.
and it was not my priority as much last year. I wanted to put content, but I didn't have the time. So I started this year with 179K, and then I had a lot of time on my hands to think of how I'll do things differently.
Hmm.
So I increased my authenticity, started giving personal stories. So if you look at it, it'll be like I'm cooking,
Yeah.
but in the background, the voiceover is a story. Or I also do a series called Meals That Heal. I started recently, where we actually talk about food and why you should eat that food to cure another problem.
Nice. First of all, kudos. I mean, the fact that you've stayed motivated throughout this whole piece, and if you think about it, you nearly doubled your followers from last year to now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because you
yeah.
had that stopgap. Um, Again, just to follow up on that, just
Mhm.
for the audience, I'm going to put your handles because it was really good for me to see once I started following you is the consistency that you have, right? Because every other day or every day you have these posts, these reels coming up, um, and it was really good. It's like good food. It looks really good, and you have like a good backstory to back it up. How, from a personal note, how do you stay motivated to do this on a consistent basis? Because at some point you do breakdowns like, okay, I'm had enough, but you're
Absolutely.
you're consistent. It's like every other day you have something coming up, and it's so engaging, and I'm seeing the views go up, the likes, the shares. So what's your motto here?
Honestly, I mean, what you said about having that, I just need a break phase, that's there a lot. But I don't know. The first thing is that I really like cooking. Okay, I love
Okay.
cooking. So, and I don't, and the thing is, I feel motivated to cook every day because I mean, I live with my husband who loves food. He loves it. So, and which I think is the reason I married him, so that we could get along the food
All
thing.
good.
But either way, yeah, either way, cooking for someone is something I genuinely like.
Hmm.
Secondly, the fact that he's completely up to try all my experiments, which either can be a fail or a hit, that is another thing. But more than anything, I really like the job I do.
Hmm.
So that is I have to admit it because to be able to wake up every day and not have to actually go to work and work another 20 hours,
Hmm.
but instead wake up and just cook because I like it. That's a very big thing for me, you understand? Like
Yep.
I'm so grateful to be able to do it. That is possibly why it's easy for me to stay consistent because I mean, I know that when I wake up, I have to make one meal today, at least. I have to cook at least one meal today. So how can I make that meal interesting? That's
Hmm.
that's all I do. Also, I have a team. So I
Nice.
have a manager who pushes the hell out of me every day. What are you
Yes.
doing today? What are you doing today? Yeah, so that helps too. That really helps. So yeah, that having somebody behind you to do it every day makes a lot of sense. Trust me.
But your motivation and the main piece of the consistency that you have is really kind of inspiring to me as well. Like as a newbie in this
Yeah,
social media
yeah,
world, the YouTube world,
right.
that's something that's required, and it's so refreshing to see that because you're being authentic, but you're doing it because you love it, right? So that's
Yeah,
I'm really impressed by that. So thanks for sharing that
thank
piece.
you.
Now, what would you say to somebody who's looking into being healthy?
Healthy for the first. Okay, first thing, I mean, usually have around standard 3 to 4 advice that I give everyone
Yeah.
because it's easy to follow.
Mm.
So the first thing is for anyone to lose weight, you need to understand that it's 80% diet and 20% in the exercise. And
Mm.
if you're looking to, bulk, it's the exact opposite. It's more exercise and you need to supplement with food. But if
Yep.
weight loss is your goal, it's to 80% of the food. So, and in to understand that, I think everyone needs to understand the calorie requirement for the day. It's a very easy process. You
Mm.
simply need to just go on Google and type calorie requirement. That's it. And there you have an opportunity a facility to enter everything. Like they'll give you a tracker, which will ask you for your age, your, demographics, everything. And based on that, it will tell you, okay, you need to eat so much if you want to maintain bulk or cut. That's it.
Mm.
It's a very simple process. Once you understand that, then you know that, okay, I need to eat, say, 2000 calories a day if I want to sustainably lose, say, 1 kilo a week or maybe
Yep.
half a kilo a week. Then you need to start working on your portion sizes. I feel
Mm.
the easiest way to start seeing progress is to see how much food you're eating.
Mm.
So as like if I used to eat a lot of rice, like I am like a bulk eater type. It's like I did not realize how much I was eating. So the easy way to understand that is by tracking what you're eating for just maybe 1 week.
Mm.
So, get like everyone has easy access to calorie tracking apps on your phone.
Yep.
It's free, it's downloadable, it doesn't take
Mm-hmm.
much time, but you just see how much you're eating in one day. Simply just simply download the tracker,
Mm-hmm.
track what you're eating for that day, and then you will realize how much you're actually eating. In that one day, you'll understand, okay, so this is how much I need to bring down. And from there, you can do it yourself. Trust me. So that is a way. Calorie deficit is the number one trick to actually losing any weight. Second thing is to make sure that as long as your blood reports are all fine and you don't have any other issues, underlying issues,
Mm.
you need to increase the protein content in your food, protein and fiber
Yep.
content in your food, because what it will do is keep you fuller for longer. And if you're a person like me who has random cravings in the middle of the night and you have midday slumps and you just want to reach out for something to eat, you need more protein and fiber, because what it will do is cut down your hunger significantly. So I don't recommend cutting out fats completely or carbs completely. I
Yep.
feel you need to have a good balance, but increasing your protein and fiber content will
Mm.
significantly help you stay fuller and a lot more energetic throughout the day. Then, I mean, so calorie tracking, increasing protein and your
Yep.
fiber. But other than that, you need to be active, physically active. So even if you're someone who does not have access to the gym, or, you
Mm.
cannot do exercises, if you can walk, that's all you need to do. If you can just walk, because it's people, you don't realize, but a majority chunk of our metabolism in a day is boosted by something called NEAT, which is
Mm.
non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which means the things that you do, the activities that you do subconsciously, like walking to get say, a glass of water,
Yep.
climbing up the stairs instead of taking the elevator.
Mm.
All of these things significantly contribute more than you would know than actually that 1 hour of exercise. If you can walk 8 to 11 or 12,000 steps a day, or even if you can walk for 1 hour a day, that you will see the difference in yourself. There is no doubt about it. So if you can walk for an hour a day. And I highly recommend lifting weights for everybody at least a few times a week. The benefits go beyond your weight loss or bulking. The benefits I mean, is just that at the age of 50, you can walk very strong with two really heavy things in your hand without being dependent on anybody.
Yep.
And also, it's proven to reduce, age-related diseases and chronic disorders in people
Mm.
lifting weights, which I still think needs to be. I mean, this is a topic which needs to have more awareness spread on it, especially in India, because I still know that everyone, including my mom, who's a doctor, who's still scared of, oh, her daughter's lifting weights, but
But I think this is why people love you, right? Because one, you're being natural, and the level of information is so insightful, to be honest. And it's not following the strict plan of, oh, you need to just reduce everything and kind of be negative about the whole piece and struggle and sacrifice a lot. The fact that we can do this with these couple of steps is awesome to hear, right? I have a quick question before we dive into the
sure.
fun segment. Because you're a social media superstar, this is an advice that I might also need to
That's
keep.
pushing it.
I need to know, we all have trolls. We have haters, we have doubters. It's always part of the game that we play. How do you handle those negative comments that comes your way for the most
I try to not read them.
part?
Um, no, very honestly, in the beginning, you realize when you start getting comments, you start reading, and then people are mean. Okay, people are
Yes.
very mean. And in the beginning, I used to read and be so, oh, like it would really trigger me. And so my husband would just sit and read the comments, and from there, he'll be commenting, like replying back to them and stuff. And but more than anything, I realized that, people just have nothing else to do. They want to bring people down, they will. So I just started ignoring it. Like, and I'm not the only one. Everyone gets it. You do
Yeah.
100 things right, they will still tell you that one thing you're doing wrong.
Yep.
So, you know, like I think one of the meanest comments that I've gotten was when I lost weight. I posted a transformation reel.
Hmm.
And I think it was, I had written about like, if I don't think my body can change, but your mind surely can, or something. That was my
Yep.
caption. And they're like, yeah, but your face surely can't. Like, and then if you think about it, people
Okay.
are rude. And then my husband and I were just like, we just laughed it off. And
Hmm.
more than anything, you realize that the people who comment actually have complete fake accounts. Like they don't have anything else to do.
Exactly.
They create an account just to come and like be rude to people. So
Mm.
we call them keyboard warriors.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I don't read them anymore. And like I said, my manager, she just goes and hide, restrict before I see it. So
Yeah.
I don't have to see it. But yeah, and now it doesn't bother me even if I read it. It's like, but sometimes when people point out that if it was a recipe or some information, if they say, if they just trash on it without actually knowing it, then I reply. Because like I know what I'm posting, right? So
Okay. And
that is the
that's
only
good.
time. Otherwise, you need to be thick-skinned, and I have grown a little layer of thick
Yeah.
skin over the years. Yeah.
Yeah. For a guy who has a lot of ego, I'm trying my best because what I'm seeing
Yeah.
is you might have 80% or 85% of positive vibes coming to you, but there's still going to be that 25 just for no reason,
Yeah,
just hating.
exactly. It's the no reason which irritates me. If you give me actual constructive feedback, which many people do, by the
Yes.
way, and I will happily take it. Like if they tell me this did not work for me, I will figure out what was the problem and then I will reply to them. But if you're just going to trash on things like appearances and other things, it just doesn't,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, ultimately I've learned to feel bad for them. That's it.
That's a good advice. I'm going to take that. So
Yes. Speaks wonders about how their true colors. So it doesn't matter.
for sure. All right, Aathira, thank you so much for that insightful, journey that you shared. I'm pretty sure a lot of my buddies here would be really kind of taken aback in terms of the success story that you had, the advice that you're given, as well as being a successful influencer in your own field, as well as having multiple segments, right? So that was really
Thank
good,
you.
and it was so. I'm glad that I did this, right?
Thank you.
And we're not done yet because we need to go to the fun segment, right? This is our rapid fire round. I do have my signature cue cards here.
Oh
It's
no,
a signature of the
I'm
brand.
scared.
It's all easy stuff, but a couple of controversial questions. You got to answer them. All right.
Okay.
So I'm going to start a couple of them with easy. If you could eat only one meal for the rest of your life, what would that be?
It would be my mom's prawns fry along with her dosa. 100%.
That's good. I might need that, but okay. If you could swap lives with any celebrity chef or any kind of high-level kind of chef or celebrity for a day, who would that be?
Honestly, I have never thought about this. So I've always wanted to try this whole private chef thing just for a day. Like I wanted to private chef for like a celebrity, and because they seem to be eating the healthiest of stuff, but also the most tastiest. So there's somebody called Chef Bay on Instagram, and she's very authentic. She's very funny, but she basically private chefs for some like crazy celebrities in I think LA. But I've always wanted to know how. She makes it seem so easy, but it must be super difficult to come up with that amount of healthy dishes, which are so that is the life I want to learn from one day and come back.
I will tag her. Let's see if it happens.
Sure. Yeah.
Next up, now we spoke about this a bit, and I want to know your thoughts. What are your thoughts or rating about Indian food? Because, for example, I need at least rice one meal a day, or else something happens to me. What are your thoughts in general?
I think Indian food is fantastic. It doesn't matter what kind of a health journey you're on. The only problem I find is that it is very high in carbs for us. See, it made sense for our diet to have a lot of carbs before, because we all, like 100 years back, everyone's doing manual labor, walking around. Now everyone's just sitting on their backsides and not doing much. And it's hard to burn off all those carbs. So I feel over the years, we need to tweak our diet a little bit. I'm not saying cut off the carbs. Try and also find Indian food itself has great alternatives to refined carbs. Like we have millets and a lot of other things which are grown very much in India, which have a much better effect on your health. So one is I feel we can cut down on our carbs a little bit. And second is when we're having carbs, let's try and find the nice ones, the good ones, which are very much available locally. So that is my other thing. But Indian food is life. Like I can't live without it. So
trust me, the flavor and spice is something I miss. We don't get that here. So
You don't get that here, no? Oh my.
no.
I can imagine. I can imagine. Like, but yeah, Indian food. It's possible to live completely healthy. I mean, like, it's possible to live a great healthy life just eating Indian food. You just need to make it right. That's all.
Yeah.
And I'm
For
not talking
sure.
about that, the chicken tikka masala that you get in restaurants. Oh my God, no way,
No.
please. Yeah.
Next up, are you an early bird gym goer or an anytime goer? Does it matter?
Early bird, 100%, absolutely. If I don't start my day with a workout, my day doesn't go well. Maybe it's how I'm conditioned right now. I can't function the rest of the day. I'll feel lazy, lethargic, guilty, irritated. So yeah, morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
And based on that, what's your cheat meal? I'm pretty sure there's something there. You
Yeah,
gotta tell
yeah.
us.
Cheat meal is usually on Saturdays and Sundays, where Saturdays I end up making like a really nice like chicken or mutton curry or a biryani, and then on Sundays we order from outside, and I'm crazy for burgers, so I love burgers. And I mean, I do make it. I try to make it healthy and stuff, but one day I just want that that greasy, cheesy stuff. One day it feels good. Yeah.
That's good. And which Hollywood actor or actress would make a perfect workout buddy for you?
Ooh. I haven't thought about this too much because I only follow mostly like fitness influencers. But it would be nice to just like maybe train with Tom Cruise from far away to see how he's so fit at this age.
Yeah.
At this age, to be able to run off a runway like 7 times back to back, that is another level fitness. So
Yeah, he's
it would be
inhuman.
nice to see. He's inhuman. So just to
Yeah.
see one day what keeps you going, bro. Like.
Yeah. Got it. I know the answer for this, but not for the audience. So, are you a cat or a dog person?
Dog. I have a dog.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
does that dog also have a strict diet and healthy food plan?
I mean, it'll be interesting to know, but I actually consult a canine nutritionist for him because I didn't know much about it. But yes,
Okay.
it's not very strict. I mean, I just wanted to know what I'm doing right or wrong. But yeah, he is good food, no doubt about it.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the funniest comment or message you've received from your fans or followers on social media?
I've received too many, but recently someone. So I like this is kind of funny because I end up I was showing a shot on my reel where I'm like I put the fork in the pan, like in the frying pan. So I've cooked everything in the frying pan, and it's like a pan fry, it's like a skillet fry. So you have to eat it from that. So I was showing that, and a guy comments on it saying, like he said it in Hindi, but he said like Didi, like sister, please don't eat from the pan. You won't be able to get married in this lifetime if you do that. So apparently that's a big superstition. I read up on it. If you eat directly from the pan, women don't get married. So I replied back to him saying that you should have told me a couple of years ago. Shit. Yeah.
That's a good. I didn't know that, but okay, that's a good.
Yeah,
thing.
I mean, you learn something new every day.
Yeah. And do you watch Malayalam movies?
I do. I mean, not too many, but I do.
But we've had a wave of Blockbuster, and shameless plug, I do movie reviews as well. So you've got.
Oh,
to
you
check
do?
out a couple.
Okay, I have to see that. Yeah. Okay.
But we've had a wave of Blockbusters over the past couple of months. Avesham, Goat Life, Premalu, Manubel Boys. What was your favorite?
I liked how intense Manubel Boys was, but I don't know. I saw Avesham and laughed my head off because it was really funny. And so I'm a Mallu, but my husband is a Punjabi. And he loved it. Like he's such a big fan now. He has the shirt from it's an Eda More shirt. So he walks around like Ranga bro or whatever. But I actually liked it because I'm a huge Fahad Fasil fan. Huge.
So you definitely need to check my Avesham review because I was American Ranganna. I dressed up. I dressed up with the gold thing, and I had the gold rings and all that stuff. So yeah.
Definitely, I'm gonna check this out.
Well, that's good to know. I'm glad. If you didn't choose Avesham, then American Rangana would have a problem.
No, I have full faith. I'll watch you. Don't worry.
Okay, last but not least, finally, if you could give like an advice for somebody like myself who's up and coming in this field of social media, YouTube and stuff, what would that advice be?
Stay authentic to yourself. Create content that means something to you, and also like don't try to copy of others. Just it will not work in long run. Second is you have to be consistent. Consistency is the key. If you post for 2 weeks every day and then go missing for 1 week, it doesn't
Yep.
work. So you have to either be consistent by, if you're posting 3 times a week, stay consistent to that. Don't give them hope and then just suddenly
Yeah.
stop. Yeah. And finally, I think most of them understand, but aesthetics matter. You have to make sure that you have good lighting and everything has to look good. But I think relatability and consistency. These are two things which will definitely work for everyone.
Got it. That's awesome, and I'll be sure to take that in because I'm a newbie, and I've got to go do the same piece about being consistent as we move forward. But I thought this has been a really fun segment, an insightful piece as well. And again, I just want to
Thank you,
thank you
Alan.
for sharing your journey as well as engaging in this fun segment here. Be sure to check out Aathira's social media plan. I'm going to put it in the description as well as the website that she has. I'm pretty sure everybody's going to learn a lot, love the content, and continue to follow her because this is an inspirational story, and we all need to root for folks like this. Are there any closing words from your side?
No, just thank you so much. I had a lot of fun. Like it's 6 a.m. here and I had fun. So
Yeah, I can't believe
it
you
was
you
really
agreed to
good.
do this in the morning. But
No, I did have fun. Thank you so much.
awesome,
And you're
and
very
as all,
kind, by the way, giving me too much credit.
you deserve it. I'm nothing compared to you, so you deserve all the
No,
credit
no,
because
but
you
no, thank you. Very, very kind.
awesome. So guys, I hope you love this episode. If you have any comments, put it down in the comment section below. And as always, continue to like, subscribe, and share. There's a lot more special guests coming up, and of course, a lot of more movie reviews. Thank you.